Hello, this is David Henry Young. I want to read a poem I wrote memorializing three of my friends who died in the Vietnam War. This is called The Wall in the Spring. Brian Paul Ahern, plate 33 East 63, died January 7, 1968. Back in Catholic school, we called him Beaver, whose little finger's tendon on his right hand I severed. We were competing and struggling for the small blue ball our nun tossed to us young students, wearing silly clip-on red ties blowing in the wind as we all raced wildly for the ball. It landed on the large pile of sharp broken slate bordering our newly paved schoolyard. Beaver fought me on the slate to get the ball, causing his severe injury so many years ago. I am still amazed the Marines took him with his permanently bent little finger. He was a member of a combined action platoon. He died in a firefight protecting Vietnamese civilians. His parents requested I guard his body home for burial. My commanding officer denied their request. I was in cryptography radio school at the time, and my CO deemed it too important for me to leave for 3 days to honor Beaver. In Vietnam, I was the communications chief for a large motor transport battalion. I never worked on the crypto gear I had been trained to maintain at considerable cost to our government. John Joseph Walker, plate 31 West 28, died September 15, 1969. Johnny was killed 6 hours before I returned to my unit to begin my second tour of duty. During my leave, I had come to the belief that the war was morally wrong. It appeared to me that we were not trying to win the war. I felt that many were dying for the wrong reasons. I kept my thoughts to myself. I just wanted to protect my men as best as I could. Johnny grew up in New York City. He walked everywhere. He never learned to drive a car. He was my friend, my best radio operator, and my best talking buddy. We would talk for hours about everything. He died from friendly fire after his night ambush patrol was set in place. A nervous, newly in-country Marine fired into his own ranks when he thought he saw movement. Johnny died instantly. The company first sergeant called a formation that first morning back. He said Johnny died because he screwed up. Everyone knew the top sergeant was full of it. Johnny was an excellent Marine, and we all knew it. The fact of the matter was that the man who fired had poor eyesight. It was later determined that he never should have been sent to Vietnam. The enemy to be ambushed that night never showed up. We collected $110 for Johnny's funeral flowers. I went to the Red Cross office that day to wire the money and send a personal telegram to his mother. It was one of the hardest things I had ever done. Johnny never should have died. We would have become good friends these past 51 years. George Francis Fell Jr., plate 10 West 84, died May 23, 1970. My best friend through high school, known as Aaron only to me. We would talk endlessly at the old marble counter. He worked at night as a soda jerk at the small store across from his home. We wrote to each other as we were in country at the same time, when our country didn't know he was in Cambodia. He was driving an armored personnel carrier when the box mine buried in the road exploded. I had returned home from Vietnam and discharged from the Marine Corps on May 8, 1970, unaware of the Kent State shootings 4 days before. I was an easy target for a lovely young woman's raging spit and verbal assault. I was standing alone in the Los Angeles airport looking for my flight home. Her spittle hit me directly on my ribbons. Her language went straight into my heart with more destructive power than any landmine could. It's a terrible thing to be bitter at only 22 years of age. At George's funeral and burial, I caught his fainting mother when the Army Major was handing her our country's folded flag from a grateful nation. Beaver, I've always felt bad about pushing you onto the pile of broken slate so I could be the one to get the little blue ball. Johnny, so much could have been. We would still be good friends today. And George, Aaron, my old friend, I never told anyone that I named my second son in your memory. I miss you all. Love, Dave.